I almost died 5 years ago from sleep apnea, and the carnivore diet completely saved my life. If you're struggling with sleep apnea, back pain, anxiety, depression, IBS, you're taking a bunch of probiotics to feel good every day, I strongly suggest you try the carnivore diet as well. Here's my story. Before I started the carnivore diet, I constantly felt sick to my stomach. I would always need to be near a bathroom, and I'd have to use the bathroom so bad, it would make my stomach upset and it'd make me feel like I would have to vomit. Besides feeling like my gut was upset from the food I was eating, I was extremely tired and lethargic every day, just weak, no energy. My back also hurt every day from a car accident that left me with 3 discs in my back that are not aligned.
I can't really go back to bed right now, so I'm gonna roll my back out and see if it makes me feel a little better.
So my back is pretty crooked and it gives me a lot of pain on a day-to-day basis. I was drinking a lot, I was smoking a lot, I eventually developed sleep apnea. I unfortunately refused to use a sleep apnea machine. I literally said I'd rather die than use the machine, and that's what happened. It almost cost me my life with that attitude. I had several occasions where I would wake up and my lungs were no longer working at all. It happened 3 separate times that were really bad. The 3rd time it happened, I nearly died from it. I fought for my life to keep breathing. Any air I could get in my lungs, just the tiniest bit, I remember just laying on the floor and I couldn't breathe at all. It was like I was literally being choked with someone's hands around my neck. It was the scariest moment of my entire life. Having had this near-death experience from sleep apnea and not being able to breathe, I was so afraid to go to sleep. I had started to develop insomnia, really bad insomnia. And I already felt weak and lethargic and low energy. So getting practically no sleep made my energy levels even worse. It made my depression worse. I spent most of my days laying in a warm bathtub, so that way my stomach would feel a little bit better and my back pain would feel a little bit better from the warm water. I was living not even half of the life I should have been living due to the poor choices I was making with my diet and my recreational activities. But then I found out about the carnivore diet through my buddy Carrie from the Homestead How YouTube channel.
For 30 days, I ate only meat and water and absolutely nothing else. And it's completely changed my life. And if you were to give me a lottery ticket right now for $1 billion and you said, you can have this $1 billion, but you're going to get amnesia and you're going to know nothing about the carnivore diet, or you can rip up the lottery ticket, it wouldn't take me a split second, a blink of an eye to rip up that lottery ticket and continue along my path. That's how life-changing this has been for me.
Thankfully, he shared his story and it helped me get my life back. I can admit at first, I was very, very skeptical about the carnivore diet. I thought to myself, there's just no way I can eat only meat. There's just no way I can have my fill of as much bacon as I want and I can heal my body. There's just no way I can eat only meat and get healthier. I just thought there's just no way. I mean, it looks good, it sounds good, but this has got to be too good to be true. You know, and that type of logic where you can eat only meat and get healthy, that totally flew in the face of everything I was taught growing up, that red meat is bad as cigarettes and the fatty, greasy meats aren't good for you. All that isn't true.
Processed meats like hot dogs and bologna and other forms of ground up meat contain organ meat, which are the most nutrient dense foods on the planet.
You know, and I wanted all of this to be true so bad. It sounded so good and it sounded almost too good to be true. But I felt like I was at rock bottom already. And the only good part about hitting rock bottom is that when you hit rock bottom, you realize the only direction you can go is upwards. It was on me though to make the decision to try the carnivore diet, to make the decision to want to improve my life, to make better decisions than I have been doing with instead of drinking and smoking. It was up to me though to make this decision. You know, and I had made a bunch of decisions that were bad and they got me to this point where my body was no longer healthy. I felt it was about time I started making decisions that were good for me. Even if they sounded kind of crazy, like eating only meat every day, I was gonna make that decision for me. Yeah, as crazy as the carnivore diet sounded, I figured anything sounded better than almost dying in my sleep from sleep apnea and waking up every day and all day having this constant irritation in my gut, so anything to me sounded better than continuing the way I was going. So I made the decision and I cannonballed right into the carnivore diet. I started with a 30-day challenge to myself. I wanted to see what would happen to my body and my health, good or bad, in that 30 days of only eating meat. I couldn't feel much worse than I already was feeling, so I felt confident to try the carnivore diet and give it a try for these 30 days and see what happened. But I would be lying to you if I told you that the carnivore diet was completely easy. In the beginning, the first week, I had terrible cravings for all sorts of junk food. Cravings for chocolate candy bars, pepperoni pizzas, double dipped garlic bread. Oh, the butter, I'm telling you. I'd say for the first 5 days, the cravings were just so bad. I could admit that. I also really struggled with eating ketchup with my burger patties. Another struggle of mine was also picking the right meats to eat. When I first started, I just assumed that all meat was good to go. Some meats like salami and summer sausage, breakfast links, and even beef jerky, they have carbs and sugar in them, which aren't really allowed on the carnivore diet. Meats like chicken, they need some butter added because they're a little too lean. You need fat on the carnivore diet with your meat. These are all things I did not know, and I had to learn as I went along my way on this diet. Once I let go of the sugar-packed ketchup and learned more about these carby and sugar meats that I was eating, and I learned about the importance of fatty meats that I should be eating, things really started to take off for me in my 30-day challenge.
When you have used fatty cuts of meat and processed meat to literally reverse and transform your health, you cannot be shy. You've got to share your story. You've got to share this video. You've got to leave a comment down below.
But then I started to see massive results. My first month on the carnivore diet was absolutely wild. I had lost over 20 pounds during the first month. I stopped snoring in the first week. I fixed my sleep apnea, I healed my IBS, I gained more energy, I kicked my depression to the curb. I also stopped drinking and smoking in the first 30 days. It was amazing. Day 27, I'll never forget it. I smoked and I didn't even feel high from the cannabis. I felt more high from eating ribeyes. Also the bags underneath my eyes went away because I was actually getting good sleep and I didn't have the sleep apnea, and I also didn't have the fear of the sleep apnea that was keeping me awake at night. And when I look in the mirror now, I have a glow that I've never seen before in my entire life. And I'm not trying to sound cheesy about that. I'm so happy and grateful that it makes me glow. My life literally transformed within 30 days on the carnivore diet. It feels so liberating to go to bed at night and not have the fear of dying. Not having the fear that might been the last time I said goodnight to my wife. It's liberating to have healed my IBS from the carnivore diet, and I don't need to know where the bathrooms are and be worried about if I'm gonna need to use that bathroom and how long I might need to use the bathroom. It's liberating. I'm also thankful for my buddy Kerry for sharing his story and his journey on the carnivore diet because it helped me get the right info that I needed.
I've been on every medication you could have for depression over the course of my life. On this diet, I have no anxiety whatsoever.
That info was so desperately needed. It helped me take my life back and get the old me back. I feel amazing, and the near-death experience has given me a new, priceless perspective on life. I'm grateful that I almost died. I really am. I am now more grateful for life, and just every day, every normal day that I wake up, it's not a normal day anymore. It's such an opportunity and a blessing, and I see that through this new lens because I literally almost died, and you're just so grateful to be alive. And I'm also grateful that I'm thriving to the point where now I can help others thrive in their journeys as well. So I'm going to continue to keep sharing my story and my journey like my buddy Kerry did. My hope is that my story will help you change your life like Kerry's story helped change mine.
Only by continuing to not shut up, continuing to not be silenced, continuing to help our friends and family and our next door neighbor and our neighbors on social media. Only by doing that are we ever going to get out the good word that fatty meat is not the enemy. Fatty meat is your friend.
Now, if you want to see what a typical dinner looks like on the carnivore diet, I strongly suggest you check out this video here. Let's go!